You're in Bermuda, part of the Bermuda government funds to Sakari to bring in a coach.
Yeah.
What did you see in Sakari when you first saw her, and what are you working on with her to help her improve?
Well, it didn't take a long time to see that you're dealing with a very gifted young athlete, and it's like an unpolished diamond. But here's a little bit problem in track and field. In many sports, we find many diamonds. But when we look back after 10 years, then you don't find many diamonds back at the top or at the victory stand somewhere, because we lose many on the way. And there's many reasons. One reason is injuries, other interest in other sports. There's many other stuff to do nowadays for young kids, playing with computers and everything. And it's lack of coaching qualities, for instance. Or maybe the chemistry between the coach and the athletes is over after 5 years. There's no click anymore. They are bored from each other. So there's many reasons, and it's a pity because we don't have too many of those athletes here, especially not in a small country like Bermuda, or a small country where I come from is Holland. And one of the things is what you have to do in the former days. Holland is a very small country, 60 million inhabitants, which is more than Bermuda, I know that. But we have limited resources. Look at the weather. Half of the year you cannot train properly. Half of the year there's snow and rain and cold. And so we have limited resources and many things, but still we are in the top 10 of the world as far as the Olympic ranking is. We're dealing with America and Russia and China and Australia and much bigger countries, Germany, France, England, much bigger countries. And it's only possible we shifted our policy. Instead of focusing on the athlete, giving our resource to the athlete, we now spend resources on the coach, because the athletes come and go, unfortunately. But when you have a coach and you educate this coach very well, you might have a gift for the future, because after this coach there will be a new coach, there will be a new athlete and another one. And this coach will educate his colleagues and not only his pupils, but also new coaches coming to the track. And this coach will also leave a legacy or a kind of a school of training. Look at one of your countries in the Caribbean, like Glenn Mills, the coach of Usain Bolt. I know when I was coaching myself for 30 years, he was already there. And he still brings forth one champion after another. So instead of focusing on the athlete, you start focusing on coaches' education, which is much more, for sure in the long term, much more profitable. Because if you have a good coach, you will have a good athlete. You cannot have an international athlete with a regional coach who thinks on a regional level. So if you want international athletes, you have a coach who think internationally, who act internationally, who have that standard level. And it can only be done by good education.
So you've been here working with Sakari as well as Rohan as well, to try and educate him a little more. He's very knowledgeable about jumping.
Yes.
But outside help will increase his knowledge even more.
Yeah, that's right. In the afternoon we talked about planning and periodization, how to make a week cycle, a month cycle, a year cycle, how to do the proper preparation. So the athletes will be in shape at the right time, and they peak at the right time when it's necessary. On the major championships, on the Pan Am Games or Carifta Games, and not here in their backyard, they do very well. And then you send them off to a major championships, and they just fulfill the expectation, which is bad for the coach and bad for the athlete as well. So it's a matter of planning and a matter of mental training as well. The mindset should be there. So I did a lot of work in the last 20 years by focusing on these things. He knows about high jump, because there's very little things I can tell about the high jump, but about all the other stuff around, which is just as important, I can help him with that. Yeah.
Now, what do you think of Sakari herself?
Well, it's a very smart girl. It's a very bright girl, and she immediately understands what you're telling her. She immediately knows how to apply it, because she's very intelligent once again, and it's a great help in itself. But it's also a great limitation, because very intelligent athletes tend to overthink. So they start to think, and then they get what you call a paralysis by analysis. They start to analyze, they're thinking too much, and they forget to jump. They start thinking about a jump instead of jumping itself. She's smart. She comes from a very. I talked to her mother as well. A very smart lady, and they understand what is necessary to reach the top. And intelligent athletes also understand that successes will not be tomorrow, instant success. She will not jump 2 meters next week. I'm sure. So you can think in the long term for her. So her peak will not be in 2 or 3 years. We hope you will be in 10 years and then jump 2 meters and then compete with the best of the world. But this is the spirit of times. Nobody has time anymore. Nobody has patience anymore. You want instant success. You want immediate gratification. You want her to be Olympic champion in Rio. What do you think? It will not happen. I'm sorry. But in 4 years, there's another Olympics. And there she has a serious chance to be Olympic champion or at least get an Olympic medal. That's the quality that she has. But many things can happen in 5 or 6 years. And so to prevent things from happening badly, for injuries or leveling off the performance, that's why I'm here.
Well, thank you for your time in coming here. We look forward to you keeping track of her and her level of capabilities gets better, as well as the coaching level.
Okay, and one more last word. I'd like to thank my old pupil, Troy Douglas. I worked together with him for 12 years in Holland. So that's a long time. So we both know what is necessary in the long time. And Troy went to 5 Olympics. I went to 5 Olympics. So I think we have the experience and the knowledge and also the motivation to bring athletes to the very top. And I know a prophet is seldom appreciated in his own country, you know. So yeah. But thanks to him, he makes it possible.
What do you think of Troy? Transforming from an athlete. When you first met him, he was an athlete.
Yeah.
Now he's coming into the coaching realm, getting information from other people,
yeah,
utilizing it and growing into what he is today.
Well, I don't get. There's something strange happening. Most of the people, experience can be a setback as well because you're saying things and people just don't understand what you're trying to tell them based on your experience. But nobody has this experience, so they think you're hallucinating or you're just, well, not. They don't understand. This is the big problem: the lack of understanding of other people based on his knowledge. But in Holland, he developed himself very well. He was a national coach in Holland for the relay team. A great success. He got the medals with the relay team. The national record is still there, and it's not too long ago that Troy made it all possible. First as an athlete, part of the relay, and later as a relay coach. And they all feel the pain of Troy leaving to Bermuda. And I think you guys should be happy with Troy being here. Just give him the time, give him the opportunity. Just give him a chance to do what he thinks is right, and I'm pretty sure the medals will be the result of that.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you very much.